Hey everyone, how's it going? It's been quite a short week this week. I streamed for a couple of days due to all the different holidays and everything going on. How was everyone's day off? Did anyone trade? Or is everyone taking an extra holiday for what's happening? We'll run over trades. Let me turn off sim mode here because I switched it when it was done. Um, okay, so let's run over quickly Treasuries. Scalper, how's it going? Trader boy, how's it going? What's occurring? How's your week been? Did you guys take any trades on the 4th? I've changed also, if you can let me know with the feedback here, I have changed the latency again to put it to ultra low, so hopefully it's not too demanding on the PC. So you guys should be, pretty in sync. I think you should maybe be like 4 seconds behind, so we'll see how it goes. No trades yesterday. I actually took a few trades yesterday, which was quite sneaky. But because look at the range here in the 10-year. Look at this. It was like 6 or 7 ticks. So I was just doing the thing, you know. Losing streak today, but we managed risk well. Nicely done, buddy boy. Nicely done. Yeah, so we'll run over. This is this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Um, in essence, we've obviously been pretty bid throughout the week after last week's incredible dump, but the sentiment is completely changed this week. Um, where let's put these in the previous profile. The main sentiment that has changed is the Fed is now said that cuts are now on the table, in quite a big way actually. So maybe two. I even think last week, to be honest, there was the forecast that no cuts were happening, and then Powell came out and effectively with one statement and changed the flow. Now we're about a 73% probability that we're going to cut in um, the September meeting. So and the Fed has come out and said that there's a potential that they'll cut twice this year, September and December. So completely different context to where we were 3 weeks ago, which is now why we're back up here. Now, interestingly enough, this is the previous NFP high where we wicked, and look how we did it the same. So uh, the market loves to throw these wicks in for NFP. Yeah, exactly. So I ran. I essentially was looking to buy 8.5s here. I didn't. I called it in the group. I didn't take as much as I would like out of it. So basically, 8.5s that I had marked out here. I was looking to buy 8.5s and sevens. Main reason being it wasn't VWAP. VWAP was at the time was down here. This is the overnight high on the tens. And in essence, the 8.5s, as you can see, actually is last week's here is last week's volume point of control. So my theory was that we were not going to go and reclaim the pre NFP levels, just simply because the numbers for NFP were a bit mixed, but it was a cool down, which in essence helped cement the Fed's decision that they're more than likely going to be cutting in September. Again, we know that this can change next week, but however, for this specific session, it didn't make sense for us to reclaim. Down at 3.5. So I was looking to be bidding at like 8.5 and sevens. Got 8.5s, and then ultimately I was out for 3 4 ticks and we popped 20. So a little bit annoyed because my plan was to hold that trade, but c'est la vie, man. So we ended this week really good week. Didn't have a red day this week, which is doesn't happen all the time. So nice week to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing too exciting today, but for NFP, I mean the amount of people that would have got chopped up here, and I'm hoping that you guys in here don't hold trades into NFP, obviously, because you get ruined, you know. So treasuries are pretty much saying thou shall not pass, you know, with all this liquidity here now on the tens, you know, we're pretty much now going to finish somewhere between, you know, 18 and a halves to probably 13s, which, you know, surprisingly is going to be in the previous week's point of control here, and value area high for volume as well. So we'll jump across to indices because you guys will be we're not certainly not watching this, you'll be bored out your marbles. So I've already got the ladder open, so let me close this. So has anyone managed to take any of this at all? Because this is just straight line stuff, isn't it? Another one of these days. What trades did you guys take today? We're now at the initial bounce high extension. 1 times extension. So see what's going to happen. I think it would make sense if we do have some profit taking close off the week. But with the Fed's change, you know, we're basically expecting, or at least for to close the week here, it's been weaker dollar, stronger stocks, lower yields, and higher bonds. That's been the way the Feds wanted it to go, that's for sure. Got post opening. Oh, did you catch this at all? So basically post open, did you fade here? In fact, that reminds me, let me get the pen. Is it Epic Pen? No, it's Magic Pen. Let me just type in pen. There we go, yep. For launch. Here we are. Nope. So whereabouts did you fade? Was it like, did you fade here? You faded there, did nice. Nice trader boy. TP, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, this action sucks, right? Um, you know, it's classic NFP where we see, you know, the sort of initial whip here, and then it's just went, you know, straight bid up. OrderFlow has not been very simple today. Basically, any selling, it's just been absorbed, and actually, if we look at this, look at the amount of large size that was done in one clip. These yellow bubbles here is essentially large size. It was coming in one clip. Um, Now let me just refresh my brain to have a look at this. I'm going to go to the cursor and quickly check this. So for large volume indicator, here, sorry, that's the wrong one. What's the size? I've got it as a minimum. So minimum of 200. Okay. So this is 201 clip, 201 clip, 201 clip is a minimum, right? So some serious size is absorbed here on the bid. And when I went up here, the ones that have absorbed Here, we've now went up, hit the extension line, and now we're gonna probably take some profits, to be honest. Fades there, and you got some of the pullback. Nice. Yeah, if only these types of days happen more often. But let's be serious. You're only doing that if you're swing trading, really. Day trading, it never really happens like this, especially in the day like NFP. It could just do this, you know, all day in this. Literally, that's a standard. This is the most standard ES chart ever. Faff around, sweep the low, go back up, sweep the high, faff around, and then go back to POC and finish here where we started the day. That's the most classic ES fashion, to be perfectly honest with you. So, if you guys noticed that I was discussing this in the trader chat earlier, that this and this essentially has been here the whole week. This sort of weird algorithm bullshit, where they're just constantly following price. They're never looking to fill. So I think they're almost doing this just to spoof other algos, to be honest, because these have never been filled. They keep on moving them, and they've been there for the last week. So clearly these firms have moved this. Look, this little guy is here. This 50. You see how these guys are falling price? Watch them here. They just bounce around. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You want the market to just set, clear levels to do this sort of shit. Sweep the low, you know, do something like this, and then we go back in, you know, and it does the same. Then some MBO data comes out. Sorry, MOC data comes out. We do this, FAF, and then we come back down and close, roughly where we sort of started, right? That's the way it is. This stuff where the market's just doing this is not it, right? Completely different conditions, um, and you need to your skill as a trader is to recognize that this type of behavior is a nope, and you want to be trading, when the market is in, this sort of behavior here, you know. Because ES loves to do that, right? Yeah, the MBO data's not been that great this week on ES, to be honest. We'll see in the next hour or so what happens. Delta's relatively flat as well, so it just means that the offer has been, in order for us to get all the way up here, right? If you look at this, the amount of absorption that has been happening, you know, it's just the bid has been absorbing all of the selling pretty much all day, and then when we go to lift, so you can see here, right? Then the market goes all the way up here. Not very much buying, so the offer was then pulled. So you had tons of absorption here on the bid, right? Then the offer was pulled to get up to here. And now you're essentially just having these people that absorbed the selling are now taking profits. And what you'll probably find is they'll come back to this point of control here, and we'll probably just range around in here. Depending on what the data comes out, it would be typical fashion with ES for us to go back down here and close. Um, but I think the sentiment's not changing now, so I think we'll maybe potentially just consolidate at the highs. Let me know if you guys have got any other questions. And NQ is still ripping. Oh, he did. Nice. What did you think of it? Did you get the middle package with the MF, the max adverse and max favorable excursion on it? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's really I've used pretty much nearly them all, and I definitely think it was. There's a few things it's lacking, but they all do lack something. There's not one that does everything. But I found it been probably one of the better user interfaces, to be honest, and it's very simple to import and export your trades. Middle, yes, yeah. I really should learn what that tier is called. I just call it the middle tier. Hopefully you clicked on the link too. That would be great. I need to actually check if I get any form of kickback from that. To be honest, that would be great. I've bloody spent a fortune in Trader Sync in the last couple of years. So it would be nice. What do you mean? Did you just go to the site yourself? That's fine, dude. I mean, to be honest with you, I think the funds that you get, I can't imagine it being a lot. To be honest. No, that's okay, dude. That's okay. That's okay, man. As long as you enjoy the platform, you can let me know what your thoughts are on it. They've actually done a snazzy update recently. Did you check the new update out with they've got a new user interface. You can add more widgets and stuff. And you can have a ton of new widgets in there, which is great. It's the new update. If you go down to the bottom left, you should see. I think it's like Trader Sync version 2.x or something on your dashboard. Okay, what do we think the market's going to do? Anyone get any opinions? Where do we think? Do we think we're going to end? Do you think we're going to consolidate around here? Or do you think we're going to take some more profits and go down here? You know, it's crazy to think if the market on close data comes out and it's heavy to the buy side that we just pump more. It's crazy. It's like a mania, isn't it? I was reading some reports actually that if it wasn't for the top 6 or 7, the big boys, then we wouldn't be where we are in the stock market. It's just heavily weighted, to your Tesla, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, so on and so forth. The other, the other like 400 and like 94 stocks or 93 stocks or something is not doing very well, but it's because they make up like 27% of the cap. Yeah, exactly. We'll see if it calms down. NQ's just ripping as well. I wonder if we can get at least a decent sized pullback, because you can't really even call this a pullback, can you? You know, it's pretty pathetic. It's just completely absorbed here, then just went up, and we've been hugging the standard deviation bands the whole day, and then look, we're now still trying to pump our way up. I mean, seriously, there's nothing really to stop it as well. Delta's pretty much flat. For these candles, there's going to need to be a lot of negative delta that comes in, to basically try and drive us down the way. How do you guys feel the stream is with the sort of lower latency? Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, mate, when it's at all-time highs like this and you've not really got, you've got nothing up here to really give you any sort of volume or anything, it's hard to come up with a fade idea. It's really better to just not. It's crazy though that we're still churning out the volume here. It's just really accepting higher prices. Hey Brian, how's it going, buddy boy? Nice to stop by. Yeah, so I'm normally done trading. I've just hopped on just to hang out with everyone. Um, we try and do it approximately about 1:30, 2 p.m. US time. I normally trade treasuries, um, and the reason being is it's just a much thicker market. We covered treasuries at the start of the stream, and my reasoning for that, for switching over to it, is my main vehicle these days is just ES being a lot thinner, to be honest. But if anything really nice pops up, we'll take it. But I'm in the UK, dude. So it's 20 past. It's 20 past 7 in the evening. So I'm pretty tired at this time. But that's just a little bit of a background, dude. If you got any questions about what you're seeing, let me know. If you watched any of the videos. Yeah, Avi. Difficult week, dude, to be fading. Difficult week to be fading, my man. But Brian, if you got any questions about what you're seeing, if you're new to the stream, have you watched any of the order flow videos about how to read the DOM? Whereabouts are you in the trading journey? Nice, Brian. That's good to hear, dude. Yeah, it's nice when you guys get some value from them, to be honest, because it's I suppose it's really the only reason I do it. Build a community and try and make trading not so boring, to be honest. Well, at least for me anyway. Because when you do this for a long time and you actually get consistently profitable at trading, it's not very fun. Like it's fun when you start and you learn new things and loads of stuff. But I've been using the same strategy now for years, so and I trade the same amount of hours per day. I only really trade two products, you know, and it's like any other job. It's meant to be boring. That's the way it is. You don't get the when you're doing a 9 to 5, you don't exactly wake up every morning and be like woohoo. You know what I mean? So the impetus for creating the channel was to meet like-minded traders, try and shorten people's learning curve, and really to build a cool community and to try and teach people what I've learned on the DOM for ages. And at some point, if people want coaching, then that's available. But I don't do any. I'll never do any form of strategies as such because I believe that showing you a random box to buy and sell is not a thing. You know, everyone that's trading has to build their own methodology, their own thesis, and needs to understand their own playbook, and they also need to do their own journaling. So nice, trader boy. I'm glad you enjoyed that part, dude. Yeah. So Brian, what have you watched any content in the past about that? Was the reading the DOM video helpful in that regard? And I suppose it would be good to get everyone's feedback here. What kind of other content would you like to see? For the death of me, I need to get into the habit of recording every session I do because then I could almost do like a weekly snapshot of the best trades and the ones that I've not managed properly or any losing trades I've taken. I'd probably like to do that as like a weekly snapshot or something. Um, but yeah, it's some feedback on what you think the video roadmap should be like, and what other content you'd like to see. And did that make sense, Trader Boy, about how to try and get yourself stay away from these types of days? To be honest, and again, actually, the same applies here, right? Where the initial balance was set here and here, and then once the market breaks the initial balance, you're then in a trend day, so you don't want to be fading. Very simply, because you can see here that you're above the overnight high. This is the overnight low with the and the previous day low is here. So you've got all of this here. So if we broke to the downside, if we did this, it'd be a completely different story. You'd first be looking to check the retest. If we don't do that, then you've got a sweep. But as soon as you get above the initial balance, you can then become a one time framing day, which if you then put this into a profile here, you can see since you broke the initial balance high, you've then got not really one time framing, but it's not broke it as such. It's been more grindy. Nice, Brian. I suppose, if I'm honest with you, nice you said that, but I don't know how I do that, to be honest. I suppose it gets easier over time, dude. Where um, when you've been doing something for so long, like anything in life, you just get more fluid with it, right? And everything, regardless if you're, learning to drive, swimming, golfing, trading, you just need practice. Same thing when you look at all these DOMs, I've got 4 DOMs up here. People look at one and they get scared, whereas there's 4 here and it gets a little bit intimidating. But you're thinking, how do you read 4 DOMs? Practice. to be honest. And you're not reading on these volatile markets like well, specifically NQ and thinner ones like the Russell and the Dow. You're not really reading the order flow because they're harder to read because it's much thinner. But right now, so you're seeing the NQ is just hitting the floor, which is causing ES to drop, right? So if it continues to drop here, we'll see a sweep in ES. So watch this. If this continues to hit into the bid here, we've seen absorption on the offer there. So if this continues to hit, watch how ES responds. You know, ES is extremely sensitive to NQ movement. Extremely. And sadly, majority of people when they start trading, they start with NQ for some reason. Those were continually hitting. Good question, Brian. Really good question, dude. So, in my opinion, the depth of market, um, the depth of market is there to help. Is like it's the final part of the jigsaw, right? And no pun intended to the platform. Um, but it's used to help confirm your levels, right? So you need to have a playbook or a trade plan. And what I mean by that, right, is you would do your let me just do this as an example. This day is a bad example because it's NFP, but very typically, um, you would mark out the high and low. Okay, of the overnight session and the overnight low. Then the market opens, and in the first hour of the day, of regular trading hours, the initial balance high and low is set. That basically gives you a gauge of what kind of day type you're going to be in, right? And typically, if we're opening in yesterday's value area, right, the market needs to do something. So you're waiting for the market to do something. If it opens and we open it above yesterday's value area, right, and overnight session or Globex was extremely bullish or really net long, very often in a balanced market they will just correct. And what I mean by balanced market, well, the most perfect example of this was yesterday. Okay, Globex, we went long. This is very, very, very classic in a balanced day. When you're expecting a balanced day, this is really normal behavior. So Globex, there's no volume, right? Very, very little. And I know people say about London Open and stuff, but London Open is really meaningless. We're trading the US market, so all the volume comes in at this pink line. So this pink line is the start of, that's far too big, a blob. This pink line here is the regular trading hours beginning. Okay, so Globex, you can see we're making higher highs, da 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 da. Okay, so when it comes to the regular trading hours open, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to look at this and go, right, the overnight session is extremely long. Okay, and the reason how you gauge it is because where did the close? Well, the market closed here. Okay, the market closed here from the previous day. It was in extremely long. And on balanced days, when you can expect this, literally on a balanced day, they have just absolutely dumped right at open. That's not a coincidence that happens, because an overnight session is extremely long. It doesn't really take them very much money to get price here because Globex is no volume, and it then basically dumps. And where does it dump to? Well, it dumps to the overnight low. We then sweep it, okay, do our little consolidation dance, and then we go back up into value. Okay, very, very straightforward stuff how to do that. Now if I then have a look at this, we pretty much opened and closed here. So we opened here, we closed here, and the difference in ticks in that is, call it 10 ticks tops, five ticks. So we opened and closed 5 ticks from the previous day here to here, right? So all of this fluff in between is not even meaningless. And this is very classic how the market does this. You know, it will get too long or too short in an overnight session. It'll open, then it'll correct. And in balanced days, they'll then sweep the low, sweep the high, and then revert it back into the mean. And the mean is typically going to be the previous day's settlement or a higher volume node. But you need to draw your sort of pre-market levels, have an idea of where you're looking to take positions, and then it comes to the DOM. Okay, then you start bringing up this guy, and you start then having a look for the behavior that is there to promote your trade. Does that make sense? And sorry, Av, you're saying is that a delta unwind? You meaning here? Yeah. So you notice with that, right? The market. Let me do this here. So the market on this day here is 2k delta to get up to here, right? We then absolutely plummet at open and basically take away everything, which is very common that happens, to be honest with you. People are probably looking at it saying what's easy to say in hindsight, but if you go back, have a look how many times the market corrects the overnight session. It happens a lot. It's approximately 65% of the time. And let me know if you get any questions about what we're saying. I do appreciate that I'm sometimes bad for going off on tangents, and if I'm talking too quickly, let me know. Okay, so NQ is somehow now back to POC. So can we get all the way back down here? We will see. I've had about 1 million coffees a day. Keep me going. I'm glad it's Friday though. Put in a good week this week. Nothing too crazy. No big surprises, both to the upside or the downside. I love weeks like that. Consistently grinding along. Nice week this week. I actually quite like it when we have half days. Mainly because I'm from the UK and we don't get a half day on that day, so it's a normal working day for me. And I find it very simple on those days because on a half day there is just never any breakouts. Just it doesn't happen. There's no follow through, so you can confidently fade the extremes with a very, very high probability. No problem, Brian. Hopefully that made some sense, dudes, but let me know if you've got any other questions regarding it. So we'll see what the volume comes in the next probably hour and a half or hour and 20 minutes. I would recommend you watch the what does it take to be profitable day trading video if you've not watched that yet. It's very important because you need to realize the competition that you're up against, and you also need to take into consideration how they take positions and why they take positions and just really what you're up against. And you also need to be very aware, to be honest, of the flows that come in the market. Like these moves right now that we're seeing in stocks or in indices here, it's nothing really to do with the companies. It's just to do with the Fed and the rhetoric, you know? So you just need to be aware of that. Nothing in the last 2 weeks has changed in any of the companies yet. We're going to the moon. And we're just simply going to the moon due to the Fed's change. You know, we're expecting now a weaker dollar, lower yields, higher bonds, and higher stocks. And the opposite can be seen when you're hiking. Some size coming in NQ there. So we're going to have a time check here actually. How many seconds are we behind? In fact, you guys can see that. See the clock when I'm saying this? How many seconds are we behind? Is it 5 seconds? Hopefully we can get it down to like the 5 second mark. If you could let me know with the big clock here. $12. 8ish. Okay. Okay, that's not bad, is it? I think that's the best we can do, to be honest. 9 to 10. Eesh. Okay. So pretty much the 10 second mark, give or take. 12, okay. Okay. I think that's probably just the time I upload to YouTube and the time that it gets to you guys, right? 12 seconds for outside of the world is not bad, right? It's crazy when you think about that, really. You know, with streaming platforms with extremely quick movement, and you guys are on our side of the world and you can see it in like 10 seconds time. That's quite impressive when you think about it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. DP is pretty cool. Yeah, I could probably do one at some point, dude. Could probably do one at some point. I suppose it's a catch-22, really. As you can tell, I'm not a video editor. I'm a trader. And really, in order to get the YouTube numbers up, you need to be probably editing the videos with precision. Because there's a lot of YouTubers don't even have a clue what they're doing, and they you know, they still manage to captivate an audience, I suppose. But I suppose I'd rather have quality rather than quantity, like everything in life. I suppose it would be nice to hear the feedback. What do you guys think about the quality of the videos despite there being not very much editing? Yeah, exactly. That's the thoughts. I agree. I mean, I'd like to make them a little bit more polished for sure. Yeah, I suppose that's correct. I mean, we're really not targeting extreme beginners here. That's the thing. And when you're probably in your first couple of years trading, you are too busy YouTubing, you know, what's MACD, ICT strategy, these types of things. You can open up a trade report or trade activity report, but my advice would be just to export your broker and put it into an external. I'm probably the wrong one to ask about that because I've exported my stuff for so long. You can do it within Sierra, but it's just not as smooth, to be honest. Okay, dudes, send me a message in Discord or something. I would rather you message me about it rather than pitch it in front of the audience, please. That'd be great. JP, how's it going, dude? Shift Control A is a shortcut to. Oh, nice, TP. Nice. That's a nice little nugget. Is there any other video requests that you guys would want? I think we've covered quite a bit now, to be honest. We've done correlations, we've done the mindset part, we've done some trade examples, done some treasury specific stuff. What did you guys think of the journal one recently? It's quite a long one, to be honest. I'm hoping after that, if you weren't journaling, you bloody better be now. You know, my objective of that was to make it pretty clear. Exactly, Trader Boy. And to be honest with you, not that I'm bashing Excel. If you can use Excel and keep it that way, by all means. But um, for me, it's if you have a bad day, right, the last thing you want to do is go and manually enter everything into a bloody spreadsheet. At least it takes you probably 5 minutes to go and export your trades, import them, write some notes in them, write a note about how you performed for that whole day in your journal on your journaling platform, and then come to a conclusion from there. And you need to have a journal so that you can see yourself doing it for the next 6 months. That's the hard part here. It's like a bloody diet plan, you know. It needs to be you need to have consistency with it. If there's no consistency in the stuff that you're doing day in and day out, then scrap it. Um, and I mean, I honestly, I first started using a Google spreadsheet or whatever doing it, and I'm pretty nifty, with spreadsheets. Not massively, but I'm relatively handy with them. Um, and it's trying to note down your entry time, close time, long or short, position, contracts. You just can't track all of that. And for the price of journals these days, man, they're not expensive. Maybe cost you like 20-30 bucks a month or something. Oh, there's some free ones you can trial. Actually, Trader Thing's got a free trial. And the only reason I'm recommending that is because it's one I've used for years. They all pretty much do the same thing. You need to make sure you've got the MAE and MFE data in there, because that should tell you pretty much if it goes 10 ticks against you, how much profit do you make on that trade when it goes 10 ticks against you. If it goes 10 ticks against you and you don't make any profit, i.e. you lose money at 10 ticks, well, you need to just cut it below 10. Do you know what I'm saying? It basically tells you that you don't need to have your stop so large, because if it's going the full 10 or whatever the case, it's not ever coming back. Do you know what I mean? So you get to cut your stop. Just as an example, but you need to build up a trade sample so that you can push forward. Again, we've just seen tons more absorption on the bid again here, and NQ is popping. If you guys have not yet hit the like button for me, can you hit the like button so we can try and push it out to some other fellow trading peeps? That'd be great. Look at the lack of delta here, it's quite depressing. And this is normally what's going to be expected, and if Monday is due to be a quiet day for data, when we have these sort of bullish days, if it ends in a spike, Monday I tend to find is just really a balanced day when it does this behavior, but we'll see how it continues. Sorry, JP, depends on the. Are you talking about the volume or not? Sorry, what you're referring to, dude? Are you talking about here, the delta, where it's pretty flat? Or are you meaning the absorption? Sorry, what part are you referring to, JP? Consider another classic example though of just the bid absorbing any market sells coming in, very simply, and then now the offer has been pulled. We're literally going bid here and there's no delta to take this up. That's been the continual theme all day today. I think I've realised that now, JP. You meaning the ME, the max adverse excursion data depends on the volatility for you taking a loss. Is that what that means? NQ is ripping here. So we're seeing the offer is starting to absorb a little bit. 400 contracts here absorbed at 18 3/4. Yeah, so again, once you build up a decent sample size, you'll be able to see what it is over different volatility. But it'll tell you in general, right? So over the course of say 200 trades, what's your average win and average loss if it goes 10 ticks against you, for example. And over 200 trades, if it goes 10 ticks against you, do you ever actually make a profit when that happens? And if you don't, then you either A, need to cut it at 10 or cut it prior. Because very, very simply, when you analyze your data, you'll see something like when it goes 10 ticks against you, you don't make a profit. But then you tend to hold to 15 or 20 ticks. So what you can interpret from that data is you should be cutting it at 10. There's no point then holding it for 15 ticks. If you're not making a profit at 10, you're not going to be making a profit at 15, are you? Do you know what I mean? So it allows you to tighten your stop. And tightening your stop and taking less on your losing trades is very important over a larger sample size. That and reducing your commissions is normally, for a break-even trader, is enough to make them profitable, to be honest. Because that's part of the cycle, is you go from losing a lot to losing a little, to break even, to slightly profitable, to consistently taking money at the market. And typically, all you're doing is making slight tweaks along the way. That's all it is. And when you break even, all you need to look at is potentially tweaking the stop and lowering your commissions, and you can do that by A, getting lower commissions with your broker, or you can trade less and be more selective. Sounds simple when you say that, but you'd be amazed the amount of people that don't even journal, never mind knowing those stats. But you live and die by what's on the screen right now, but then you don't live and die by what your behaviour's like when you click the buttons. So you need to know both. We're going to put in another high again today. It's looking like it's wanting to right now. So a little bit of negative delta coming in. We'll see if it's going to be absorbed again. If NQ pops here, so you can lift the offer and have a little pop, we should see NQ challenge 20s here. Sorry, ES challenge 20s. So hopefully that made sense, JP, as to what you were saying. Is anyone getting any open positions at the moment that they're taking? Are they just currently watching the market, seeing what's happening, waiting for some action? Flat and waiting, trader boy. Nice, dude. suppose like anything, if we watch this together, it should, hopefully your patience has improved over the last probably say couple of months since we started doing this. Yeah, I agree, GP. I agree. You're best to do that way, and then control your risk massively, right? And in times you do get those home run trades. It's the way to do it. The only thing you need to be mindful of is commissions, of course. That exact methodology works extremely well in treasuries because the tick to commission ratio is so good. You're getting like 8, 9 to 1 break even trades uh, for one tick, which is crazy. You're getting 4 more attempts, 4 times the attempts than ES. I think ES is pretty much, what, two trades or something. Thanks, TP. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I agree, JP. I agree, dude. So good question, Avi. It depends on the specific trades. If I'm in treasuries and say I'm looking for 4 ticks, and I think we've say the 4 tick area gives me the free look for it to crack the highs and then run on a bit, I'll I'm definitely not taking a loss on that trade. So I'll move it to break even, maybe plus a tick. And if it does crack, I'll follow the trade pretty much. But if we're in a balanced day, then I'll just take the 3 or 4 ticks. It depends on the trade plan. Like if it's a profile extension, I like to call it, um, and I get a free look if it's going to run, I will probably move it to break even or plus a tick, give it 3 ticks of room, and see if it goes where I can then get a home run trade for 9 or 10 ticks on treasuries or something. I got one of them. I'm terrible for remembering dates. I think was it last week or was it this week? I need to double check my journal, but basically that exact scenario happened where I was short. I think it was last week because last week treasuries was just basically just went offered the whole way down. Um, where I was short was up 4 ticks, great trade already, and I thought, right, we're now at the lows. I'll basically get a free look to see if we crack the lows, and we did, and it just kept on taking the next price, and I was like, yes. So I just followed it down. Um, I think I took 9 ticks out of that. So that's typically what I do. But if again, just to reiterate, if we're in a balanced day, where we're just working a range, then I'm taking 3 or 4 ticks. Are you with me? So it depends on the day type, where we're at, what kind of trade it is. You know. Hopefully that makes sense, Abby. And I can't really emphasize the importance of the context for that day. So it's a Monday. There's no data. It's a balanced day, and we're approaching the lows. What is the chances that that is going to crack the lows? The sentiment's the same as Friday. There is no new flows coming into the market for data. Is a large trader really going to step up and aggressively hit into the bid at the lows to continually take price? Probably not. It's more than likely that if they do hit it, there'll be some stops taken, and actually the hit that they've targeted below the lows has been a surge for them, so that they can actually work the bid to get out of their short positions. That's very common on a balanced day. ES does that, does it all the time, and that's the thing that you need to consider as well. Is that just comes with experience. You need to put yourself in the large trader's shoes. That you're at the highs right now in a balanced day with no news, right? Would you really try and sling 500, 1,000 contracts to crack the highs? And is that going to trigger more people? Or you need to spend that much to get the stops to get set off so that you can get out of your long positions? So it's actually these large traders that are boosting it and banging it through the highs so that the stops get triggered so they can get out of their positions. And what happens is, this is where you see a typical stop run to the highs, where they've actually spent some money to push it above, right? And then they hold the offer strong, and it's actually them that are holding the offer strong on limit, of course, because they're getting out of the long positions, and then they just start hitting into the bid, and then they bring it back down to the point of control. That's very, very common. But again, would you be doing that type of behavior on NFP days? No. Would you be doing that if there's at least one, you know, tier one data point coming out? No. Again, it's all about context. And would you be fading it on days like this? No. Nice, Avi. That's good. So what you need to look at, dude, is with the 8 to 12 ticks, if it goes 10 against you, how often does it come back to profit? Or if it goes 11 against you, as an example. Do you know what I mean? So look into those numbers just so you've got an idea. Because it may be like once it goes 6 or 7 ticks against you, you never make a profit, so you actually don't need to take the full 12. You know, just some food for thought. I don't. It's your own journal and it's your own numbers, but it's um, just some data that you can be looking at. And of course, you don't start changing that if you've only got 20 trades. You need to have at least a couple hundred trades under your belt before you can start making these tweaks, right? Because again, people tend to suffer from curve fitting, you know. So we'll see here if we can get. I mean, the only real chance that we've got to sell off here, we've got, what's this, like 45 minutes. So note this level here, right? In fact, I'll manually draw the box, right? Up at these highs here, we will see if we're going to sweep and someone is going to step up, probably round about here. Okay, you want to see them bang it. They take this out first. They need to take this full 200 and do it in quite an aggressive manner. So you can see they're absorbing there on the bid. They've taken it and then they've literally stepped up again and reloaded here, right? They need to take out this price. If NQ pops here, if NQ goes up, then we'll see this take out. Then we'll see a little pop. But they are holding this here, you know. So look how they're still absorbing on the bid. So notice the sellers have taken that price, and then buyers then again have lifted and reloaded again here. If NQ pops, it will take this out, and then we're challenging the highs. So they're still absorbing. They just absorbed 400, and they're still, fucking hell, man, it's still absorbing. So they did the same. Are they going to absorb again, then tick up. So there's still more here. Again, watch NQ. If NQ pops, this will take. I just can't believe the amount of buying that's still happening at the highs. But no, the only real chance we've got of this selling off is we need to extend above here, right? We need to extend above this level. We need to see whoever is buying and absorbing right now, in essence, needs to stop. So in order for this to dump, we need to see they've just taken this level. NQ's popping. Watch if this drives, we'll take this next price. On NQ, help my talking point, please. Pop. Okay, we're trying. Yep. Okay, so they're now flashing this 200. They're basically testing the bid. And then what you'll notice for the price to get down, okay, in order for price to be driven down here, whoever is doing all of this absorbing at these levels, it needs to be gone. Like this market is never ever going to dump down here, right? Until whoever is absorbing 300-400 contracts at the highs is done. They need to be done doing their business. And ignore this bullshit here because these are not real. They've been here the whole week. This order here, this 200, this is currently there to test the strength of buyers. Notice it just pulled, actually. So what they do there is they basically test the strength. And what I mean by that is imagine you were a large trader, right? And you flash 200 here, okay? And say price is sitting, in 19 and a halves, okay? Buyers should be aggressively taking your 200 because they want liquidity, but they're not. So that's what they do for this. They basically test the book. I mean, I know I've been pretty aggressive with this 2 ticks. It's never 2 ticks just so we're on the same page. It can be 5 to 10. It just depends how quickly they bang it. But you'll notice though that say price is hovering around here, right? Around, this sort of area, which it kind of is. They'll probably say to themselves, okay, we're maybe, net 3,000 long from say down here, right? Net 3k. They need to start getting out of the long positions. So what they'll do is they'll say, right, we need to spend 400 more contracts to bang it above this area. And when we do bang it, it'll set off all of these stop orders here, right? All of these sell orders are going to be stopped out above the high of the day. Probably 4 or 5 ticks above the high of the day. These are going to be stopped out. And it allows these guys that absorbed all of the buying here to effectively get out of their positions. And this is the only last chance saloon that we're going to have for this to dump. Plus the data that comes out in the next 40 minutes. They need to, in this time, get out of the long positions, crack it above the highs, right? And then need to start absorbing on the offer and start feathering into the bid. And you need to see the guy who was doing all this absorbing here, this guy needs to be done his business. And he needs to basically flip onto the offer, onto this side. Okay? He needs to flip onto the offer. And what it means is he's done business on the bid, he's now absorbing on the offer, and then because he's then no longer on the bid, it will move more fluid down to next price. It will take this one, take this one, take this one. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by they're flipping. They basically flip from the bid to the offer because they've done their business on the bid and they need to work the offer to get out of their bids, and then they get filled with a then net short, and then they're no longer then on the bid. They're not absorbing anymore, so the market doesn't have this two-way like it's trading, right? This guy's still now absorbing more here. Fucking hell. I went about ham with this pen. Hey Neil, how's it going, dude? How's it going, dude? We were done a while ago on Treasuries, NFP day, so didn't take any trades prior. Took trades about half an hour post NFP, traded for a couple of hours and done. Nothing major to report, but I think about four ticks total, three on ZN and one on the 30 year. So happy to end the week that way, man. Especially with NFP Friday and half week. So how about your week, dude? How did it go? Okay, so NQ basically stalled here, roughly, right? So we need to see NQ get up here, and they need to crack above this level. At the same time, ES is just been holding. Uh, this is the worst type of action you want for a short. But as I was saying, the trade plan here, two ways. You could be buying this to basically go with these guys to in essence go for their stop run because they're going to bang this above this high, and they're going to do it so they can get out of their positions. Nice, Neil. Nice. I actually traded Independence Day because I wasn't off, um, which is a really simple day just because there's no volume, so there's no follow through in anything. So I was just trading the extremes. So I actually think, yeah, we did okay on that would be yesterday. Made about 6 or 7 ticks yesterday, which is nice. How's the Apex stuff been? Has it been as problematic as of late, or both? I've got other businesses as well, dude, but I don't work for someone or anything like that. I run and manage another tech company in the finance space, but all completely remote now. So I trade as much as I do that. In essence, in the mornings I look after that, and then in the afternoons I trade, which is great. It's a very nice schedule actually. And in finance, no, and so I've got some properties, but it's in the banking and fintech space. Nihon, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not really too sure what to think about that, dude. I see the Sterling loves it though, so obviously the banks and Bank of England and so on are expecting to be raising rates under the Labour government, which is probably expected. So they'll be expecting higher yields, lower bond prices, higher currency, and the FTSE will get hammered. And that's pretty much the trajectory of that. Opposite to what the Fed is trying to do right now. But inflation is pretty low in the UK right now. They managed to hit about, I think it's about 2% right now. Yeah, so they've done a really good job with that, dude. That's for sure. Considering COVID, so they managed to get it 2%. So you know they can afford to hike anyway. The Bank of England will probably hike rates. Um, what's going to happen with that is they'll faff around for a while, and then the Labour government will probably spend too much money, which will increase inflation. But it's already at 2%, so it can afford to go a little bit higher. So, you know, I'm probably expecting rates to be increased over time, and it's a 4-year term as well. So we'll see what happens. This is shocking price action. Come on, yes, pop, go a bit higher. Yeah, exactly. DV. It's 2%, but I'm not feeling it. I go to Tesco, dude. That's for sure. Fuck me. And I'm like 50 quid with 2 bags of shopping in there. Yeah. The one thing I'm glad about, you can imagine, is the half-wits SNP are no longer in power for Scotland, so that's at least something. The irony that Nicola Sturgeon last night was on the panel, I mean, you couldn't write it. Unbelievable. Half-wits. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll definitely find that the sterling will increase under Labour, uh, so there'll be a stronger pound. The FTSE will get hammered. Yields will increase and bonds will go down. That's what I'm probably predicting over the next couple of years. I don't trade gilts or anything though. The FTSE is such a mean reverting market. If you look at the FTSE returns versus the um, ES, it's frightening. The FTSE is not even a great investment, is it? When you look at it, it's actually a much better product to day trade. I am not too sure, Nihon, but I know that basically the Conservatives lost by an absolute landslide. But to be fair, they don't know their arse from their elbow, so it makes sense. You know, I think at this point it doesn't really make a difference who's in power. To be honest, the only thing that I'm not looking forward to is the fact that I'm probably going to be taxed more, and if I get taxed much more, I'm not going to be staying in the UK. To be honest, and in Scotland the tax bracket is even higher, so it's brutal. And it's not as if Labour are going to come in and say, "All right, see the 45% tax bracket, like we'll give you more money." No chance. They're going to hit that bracket the hardest, as they always do. So, oh, he did. He won a seat. Fucking hell. Interesting. It's like watching paint dry this ES right now. Yeah, exactly. He'll just ride off into the sunset now. That did. What I found quite funny about him, right, was when he come on as prime minister, he was like, oh yeah, we're going to undo all the problems that we did in the past and stuff, and all the issues happened with COVID. And I was like, dude, you were like the chancellor and stuff that gave away all the money, you halfwit. He was literally the guy that was like, oh yeah, we'll do these checks and do this and give this and so on and so forth. He's the one that determined it all and then tried to fix his own bullshit when he came in as a prime minister. Honestly, fucking hell. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, UK politics are politics in general. The way that I see it, right, is if you can't win yourself, you've got no chance. Relying on who's in power is pretty meaningless, to be honest with you. It makes a big difference though when for Scotland they were wanting to go independent. It's a terrible decision. Thank God that never materialised. So you guys in any trades at the moment? That's all. This is this is just no action at all, is it? More absorption at the highs. Sellers stepping in, yeah, price is not moving. Oh, Neon, nicely done, dude. Good day. Okay, NQ's popping. Let's see if we can pop above here. Take this price. Nice. Nicely done. Good trade, man. There is absolutely no volume here that it feels like the market is moving in slow motion. 25 minutes till we get the popcorn out though. We've now been sitting at these highs for 20 minutes. I mean, look at the Dow. It's literally not moving. There we go. A tiny movement in NQ. So So see, what do you guys think when the market and close data comes out? Do you think we're going to rip the highs and continually going bid, or do you think we're going to take some profits and work our way back down to to 12, 10s, to this sort of range here? This is what I would like to see, but we could just go to the moon. We need to try and break this 20s level here. We've hit it 4 times. Let's see if we can take the full 50. We do need to lift through it. NQ can pop, it would help. Pop above our red box. We said there was absorption there last time. Let's see if they can crack it. Nope. Okay, there we go. Little mini pop above the micro range. Let's see if we can take the high. Jeez, oh, the point of control has for the regular trading hours has just moved to the highs. Fuck hell. Wow. You don't see that very often, do you? Uh, Neon, I have got no idea what happened last Friday. I'll need to double check. We're just approaching these highs. Let's see if this can play out. So we want to see them bang it here and take some stops. Let's see if we do it. Let me do this to recenter. The box and stuff has just moved. That's a shame. Okay, so it's going to be like here, right? Honestly, well seen. I'm not an artist. Probably about this sort of price. We want to see a pop, right? So we want to see it pop and a blip happen for stops to be taken. I would prefer if there was some MBO here, because this is fake. This and this. They've been here the whole week. Don't really think this is the exact conditions we're going to get fades, to be honest, considering it's just the point of control is just moved here for the session. But it's the same sort of idea, Neon, here, where there was tons of absorption right here. You can see with the bubbles, and here, right? And you can see that by delta, that the market was going down here, aggressive selling, but then it was actually moving up the way. And typically these ones that absorb all these prices, they need to try and get out of their orders. And it's a shame that they did this. It's not a very great talking point when they do it literally right to the tick. I mean, they've literally put it to the right of the tick of the highs and then pulled it, and now you see the bid being pulled. The guy that had done all his business, as we discussed here, they need to pull the bid, which they're doing. But it's a shame. This is the hardest thing about ES, is it's just not as predictable. Sometimes they do it to the literal tick here, We did see a little mini sort of blip just above this micro range. If you clocked it a couple of minutes ago, we saw a blip here, but I was expecting it to do it a little bit more aggressive above the high than what it was doing, because you notice now NQ is going down, which is helping, but this bid needs to be pulled. So when they're hitting into it, you want to just see the bid be pulled, and then that's how we move down, you know, coupled by selling. But there's not really any selling coming in, to be honest with you. It's just the bid. The bid is not there. Because that's the thing you need to remember, there's two ways in which the market can move. It can move with basically just aggressive action, right? One-sided, like this, where it's just going to the moon on delta, right? Or it can move with not a lot of delta, but the offer has just been pulled, which means no one is standing on the way. So what that looks like is when it hits 115 here, this thing gets pulled. You know, maybe 50 will hit in here, there'll be 80 will cancel. Same again, 50 will hit here, 80 will cancel. 50 will hit here, 100 will cancel. Do you know what I mean? That's how the price moves. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's tons of buying. It just means that the offer is standing out the way. And then ultimately what happens is all these dudes that are buying, they're probably net long from say down here, and it's only costing them, like, they're probably net long 2k down here where they've absorbed, and then it only costs them say 50 to take the next price, another 50. So when they get up to these highs, right, they're the ones that will be probably have in these market conditions, they'll have icebergs up here so that they can start getting out of the long positions, and when they bang it through the price, they ultimately take all of these orders up here. So everyone that was selling, okay, everyone that was selling, they need to become a buyer to get out, okay? That then drives them there and allows these guys, the sell positions, to get out, you know, to get out in the long positions, which become sellers. And these guys that are liquidating need to become buyers, so they match each other at the highs and lows, if that makes sense. Because for every buyer there has to be a seller, and vice versa. So they load their offers up here, take the stops, and once they're out of their positions from down here, they can then become net short, and then the bid that was doing the absorption on the way down is no longer there. They then pull it. So you then just have this cascade of price going down because the bid, same way on the way up, the bid gets pulled. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a bit of a word salad to explain that, but a couple of different ways that the market can move, and you should notice that over time. I would say this week has been pretty hard in ES because these annoying orders have been here every fucking day. These ones. Notice how they just follow price, the same algorithm. So clearly one of these large firms has got some sort of, I don't know, weird buying algorithm, I'm assuming, that is just tracking these orders continuously, because these are never filled, they're just moved. But these are placed in the market to basically affect other algorithms. They're not to affect retail, these orders. They're there to basically affect the other algos. Did that make sense, Neon? Hopefully I covered what you're meaning. It's the same sort of concept, but just, you know, different sort of days. Again, selling is still been absorbed. It's just a continual absorption on the bid right now. And I wouldn't be surprised when we see this amount of absorption. Once these guys are done all this absorbing on the bid, they'll need to get out the trades on the offer. So it's either going to be two ways, in my opinion. They normally ram it above the highs to do so, where all these stops are going to be triggered. Because people again here would have shorted this because they thought, all right, yes, you know, we're now down here, we're now in time for a pullback, so they're now stuck, and their obvious stop is going to be above here again. So enough liquidity was generated where they can now exit out of their positions again. and then they'll do this enough where they actually get to then become net short, and then we do the same behavior we just discussed. They ram it down here. So not saying this is the exact sort of context we want to do, because we are at all-time highs and there's extreme absorption on the bid, but I'm just letting you know that's the type of pattern that market makers will do. You can see from the profile that we are definitely absorbing these levels here, you know. It's pretty much going to be the point of control here. Right, for the sake of entertainment, I want them to bang here, and I want them to take these levels. Okay, so they've popped 50, that's good. That is good. Let's see if this stays. That's them planting the initial iceberg. So what you'll see is when they get here, they'll spend a couple hundred contracts potentially to bang it, right? And when they do that, you understand the concept, right? Of when the price stops here, goes past literally this price right here, okay? That then sets off, essentially, that will set off the buy stops for people that were selling to get out of the market. So they're all kept broker side. We don't know that they're there, but you better believe there will be stops above here. Now, they can then bang this and get out of their short positions. Sorry, get out of the long positions by executing shorts. Okay, and we'll see if this 50 is a little gauge that that's what they're doing. It should be much easier because it should be, you know, 100, 100, 100, 200 above here. It'd be much easier to notice. I just can't believe how much absorption is literally at the highs. It's fucking craziness. Okay, right. We want to see if they hit it, and notice they'll like blip it. So it'll hit it, and it'll fill like 3 prices and instantly bounce back. So let's see if they do that. It's the sort of characteristics of a stop run. Okay, so you want to see them bang it now at the high of the day, and tick up here a few ticks. Probably not the volume to do it, but let's see. There we go. That's exactly the behavior. Do you see that? Do you see that? That's stop's been triggered right there. Pause that because that was an absolutely perfect example. And see it. Notice the price didn't get there. They hit it, and that was the stop's been triggered. They were able to get out of their long positions. There's hundreds of contracts triggered. Right? You know what I mean? You see that? So that's a stop run, right? So you want to see them absorb a little bit more now on the offer here, okay? And now when they start hitting, you want to see this bid dissipate, okay? So they've cleared. You want to see them hit into this, bid pulled. Let's see if they do it. Is a good talking point. So they're drilling in. Do you see the difference now? They're drilling in, absorbing, hit it in, drill. And they're still ticking back up. Okay, so the easiest painless ones is when they drill in, take the next price, okay, and they're not doing that. But so the bid is still there. So we want to see if we're going to absorb some more around this point. So note the amount of contracts they're going to absorb. I'm going to get rid of my little thing. Hopefully you guys like the pen. It's I'm starting to go mad about the pen. But you want to see them absorb. So price now in theory for this short should not be coming back up here. Okay? Because they've taken the stops and you now want to be seeing absorption on the offer continuously. It's not helping the NQ is popping, to be honest. This needs to get below POC. If NQ can get below here, it's really going to help the situation. But you're seeing tons of absorption. Okay, let's continue with it, so that they can then fill up their boots on shorts. Okay, and then this bid, in order for this to go down here, at least have a chance to do it anyway, this needs to basically go away. Okay, Not saying I would take this because, you know, crazy, but I'm just giving you an example. If this was a balanced day, if this was a balanced day, this is the perfect type of behavior you want to be seeing at the highs. And on a typical balanced day, they would just drill, they would drill into the next price. This would be pull, drill in, pull, right? And then you just have this cascade going down, and then NQ also works its way down. But when it's on these ridiculous days like this, it's not really the best way to fade it. But we're just talking of an idea, right? But we'll see. That's the type of setup you want to be seeing. So 79 is pull, 79 trades, next price, 59 trades. So they're still absorbing 200 odd contracts at 20 and 3/4. That needs to go. This type of bullshit here needs to not be there. So if you were shorting and this is happening, you need to get out because that should not be happening. If you're thinking that this is going to go down, someone should not be absorbing 250 contracts literally 4 ticks away from the high. You know what I mean? If this was to go down right now, it would be going, and they're still absorbing more. You know, they need to crack it with some size, and this bid needs to be gone. It's the only way for it to be going down, because someone has got intent still to be selling this, right? And absorbing. Does that make sense, guys? And we want to try and see if NQ can get, below POC, because until that goes down below here, because it's still got all the chop, NQ still got all the chop at POC to beat, and in order for ES to go down, NQ needs to be down here. So hopefully that makes sense, Neon. So watch NQ. If NQ can break and hold below POC, we'll probably see a depreciation here and a pull in on ES. So it's a very good point to note. It's another point of reference because they have to move in tandem with each other. Because put it this way, right? Obviously it goes without saying, ES is never going to go down here while NQ is up here. That's just not going to happen ever. To be honest, probably ever is a strong word, but it's extremely red herring. Right, watch this. As soon as this breaks down the low, notice ES will tick down. So you want to see us continually hitting into the bid and get away from the chop around POC. I think the main thing to probably note from that was the stop run. That doesn't just happen at high of day. That exact behavior happens in, micro ranges like this. Here and here. It happens here. It happens all the time. As soon as you're breaking a point where there's going to be stops, you'll notice that behavior. And very often when it does do that, you want to see how they hit into the bid. And if they hit into the bid and it starts to be pulled and you see absorption on the offer, then it's your confirmation to go short. That's the type of behavior you want. But you need to be managing it super closely, because as soon as you start seeing the behavior of this guy was basically absorbing 240 contracts in the bid in one tick, that is the last thing you want to be seeing when you're going short, because that shouldn't be happening. When you recognize that the trade is going your favor, they should be hitting 50 contracts and the bid should be pulled, not this. So if you saw that and you took that position, you were out. Now we're going. Okay, this is the type of run now. Okay. So this is the last chance saloon now. Last stop run before we take profits. We've got 6 minutes to come in. So this would be the perfect example if we were to go down here now. Okay, let me draw out this sort of area here. So right here is the stops triggered. we're kind of trying to come up with any thesis to short here, to be honest. On a table, you're at a high of day. It's not exactly the best idea, to be honest. But it's the only real talking point we can have because we're not going to be buying at highs, right? So in 5 minutes, we will notice that they've hit this, then they start absorbing, and then we need NQ to go down, and we try and sort of finish down back in this range with the objective probably to reach this high volume node here, this sort of area, right? That's the only sort of idea I can have for short. Or the other side, if it goes long, we just pump to the moon, you know. Hello, Wax. So it depends what products I'm trading, dude. This is obviously indices, so I have ES. This is ES on the left here. Um, this is ES. You can see by here. It's NQ here, Russell here, and the Dow here. There's a link to Tick Strike in the description, where you can try out correlation software for free, if you so want. That's where you can potentially see the volume that's going into the underlying stocks, your big 6 or 7, like Meta, Google, Amazon, Netflix, all of them, you know. Nvidia, so on, things like that, dude. Let me know if you get any other questions as to what you're seeing. I still think in the next three, well, 2.5 minutes now. So has everyone got the popcorn ready for the volume coming in? NQ's pulling in a little. So let's see if we do get a surge. It would be quite disappointing if we just go to the moon, to be fair. It's 5 minute or 1 minute. The DOM is not a time frame. It's what you're seeing right now. It's not a time frame. This is live in the second, right this second. It's not, the DOMs don't work in time frames. So we need to see this bid go away. It's continuously been absorbing. We're seeing aggressive selling come in on Delta here, and the bid is still absorbing. We're actually going up the way, yet sellers are stepping in. I mean, seriously, the bid is so strong today. The bid needs to just not be here. If we can, if they can basically finish off their business, and this bid be pulled. So let's see what happens in the next 1 minute. If they pull this bid, we could launch down here. Hopefully that makes sense. Wax about the DOM, dude. Okay, so 1 minute. Let's see how we do it. NQ's already back down at POC. NQ's actually still absorbing at the highs. Slightly concerning. This is shocking price action. It's just continually been grinding higher. Yes, I sure do. I mean, everything you're seeing here is right now live. I mean, you can use time and sales if you want, but this is in essence a time and sale. If you're seeing, oh my goodness, that's a big blob. Wow. These bubbles is size coming in. These bubbles. The yellow is a big size been hit into the bid, and the blue is big size that is lifted the offer. 200 larger than 200 contracts in one clip, in one order. And there is the fear. Continual lift. Come on, let's see if we can sell off. Surely we're not just going to go to the moon. If it does, this is crazy if it does this. But we have got algo time coming in soon, just for everyone to bear in mind. Oh, notice all these orders planting up here, so this is them now taking profits. Let's see if they lift in and they'll just continually clip into these and just take the profit, so we're not going down the way. Huh. This is where the MBO data comes in valuable to see that, right? You want to see them continually go up and hit, absorb, and then when 9 o'clock comes in, or sorry, 4 o'clock, we will see the, hopefully, my sell off, we'll see. It's just incredible how big this is. It's just, look at the amount of positive delta now. Has anyone checked the MOC data that come in? Hey, e-commerce, nice of you to join. Thanks for the kind words, dude. Right, so note 27s here, 27s, and the absolute highs is 30s. Okay, so they're now getting out of some of these orders. We have 9 minutes until the algo time comes in for MOC, okay, where we may then see a sell-off. Would I advise anyone shorting this? Absolutely fucking not, okay? I'm just saying that this is now the type of behaviour you want to be seeing, where they're stacking up here to either get filled and basically start closing out their positions. But look at the amount of positive delta that's just come in. We've just, what's the exact, jeez, oh, that's crazy. So in the last 5 minutes, we've just pumped 4,500 delta. Positive, of course. So we shall see. Everyone needs to get their get the popcorn at the ready, get the juice, get some chip and dip, get yourself nice and prepped, and watch the show for when the next 8 minutes comes in, because this has been extremely boring with the price action, and we're now getting 15 minutes of some size. And I think with the amount of absorbing on the bid that happens here, right, I would love to see the bid be pulled, because if this bid gets pulled, whoever's been absorbing literally all day, they've been absorbing, you know, here, here, this has been tons of absorbing here, all at these levels, right? If this disappears, we seriously can dump extremely hard. And it doesn't necessarily need a lot of selling, it just means the bid needs to go away. As you guys remember, the market can move two ways, right? It can move by aggressive one side, or it can move by a path of least resistance on the other. And what I mean by that is, you don't need a lot of selling if there's nothing in the way. So we see, look at all this absorption on the offer, which is a good sign. So 672 contracts absorbed at 23 and a quarter. Thousand contracts now at these two ticks in the last 1 minute. It's slightly concerning that all these orders are stacked up here to be filled. What am I looking for? Okay, well, I'm kind of clutching at straws rather than just saying going to the moon, so I'm trying to think of something that's a little bit interesting for a play. So these are, I'm more thinking that these orders here are going to be filled, but the fact that we've just absorbed so much, I would like to see is in the next 5 minutes the bid to be pulled, right? So they hit in, they continuously pull this bid at each price, right? And then we work our way down to maybe 12s at a push, maybe like this sort of area here. So what I'd like to see. But I'm really clutching at straws, to be honest. Most likely we're just going to fill out these orders here, which is the most simple way. Rather than just saying we're going to the moon, but there's still there's a ton of two-way happening right now, and look at the amount of buying that's happening. It's been absorbed here. So we're seeing a lot of absorption at the highs right now. A lot. But 3,000 contracts absorbed in these three ticks. Still would be going short though, but hopefully that makes sense, dude. We're ultimately looking to see if we can get some taking of profits and for the market to pull back here, but realistically, it's been absorbing so aggressively on the bid. And look at this now, how much absorption is in the offer, right? Look at all this buying here. See all this buying? Market's not moving. There has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. There's been 5,000 contracts absorbed here on the offer because it's all positive delta. It's been absorbed. You've now got all of this waiting here, all of this selling waiting up here. Which I mean, they could just go bid, fill this out, but I would like to see. Is basically to go down, to be honest, just for the sake of it. And the fact that they've had this much absorption at the highs is kind of telling. They've now got enough now to basically hit into the bid, and this bid goes, we will work our way down. That's the sort of plan of attack right now. We're going to fill out here. Let's see if they can fill this out at 25s. Yeah, exactly. It does, doesn't it? That's what I was thinking, dude. But I think though, as I said, if this bid goes, this is going to go very, very quickly. 2 minutes. But it's slightly concerning with all those orders up above the highs, to be honest. NQ is already going down. If it continues to go down and breaks POC, we'll go. I mean, how much absorption do they want in the offer? I mean, seriously. That's like 6,000 contracts absorbed up here in these ticks. And they're still hitting it. Jeez. Okay, let's see if we fill out these areas. I mean, it's only going to be one of two ways. Either the bid's going to be pulled, we're going to go down, or we're going to continually lift and take out these orders up here. 1 minute till we find out. All answers on a postcard. The Russell's going down, NQ's going. NQ needs to break and hold below this level, below POC. If we can do that, Russell's already going. Here we go. 1 minute. 1 minute for capitulation. Let's see if we've gathered all this absorption up here. Are we going to drill it now? Back down to this level. Let's see if the sneaky bastards do it. Classic market making. If I was a firm, this is exactly what I would be doing. Absorb at the highs, wait for that's done, and then bang it down to end the day. And I managed to get all my profits out as well at the same time. So we'll see if that's how they do it. Very funny that. Okay, 10 seconds. The orders are already coming in, to be honest with you. But here we go. 10 seconds. Right now, okay, here's the order time. Let's see how far they're going to drill it down. You know, if I was to draw a quarterback play, you know, to win the Super Bowl, this is it. Back down to point of control. Would you look at that? It's like I was a market maker in my previous life. That's what happens when you see this amount of absorption up here, because that was them clearing off all of their closing the long positions. They then essentially end up net short, and then they start hitting into the bid. Before you know it, and this is enough of a move. This is like what, 26 down here, give or take. It's a more exciting play than just going to the moon, to be honest. It's the fact that they've done so much absorption at the highs. Couple of minutes, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Did that make sense, guys? I mean, there really only was two possible plays, right? We filled out the orders up here, but the fact that we'd seen this much absorption, the guts of 6,000 contracts here after us sweeping above, so the clues are in the book. Yeah, the 6,000, the contracts were done prior to that, and that's them now bashing it. We probably had two things at play there. We'd have had some long liquidations there, having to cover some fresh shorts coming in, and the fact that they'd stopped the market dead up at like 25 evens, now working their way down. Look at the amount of negative selling that just come in as well. Jeez, oh, look at this. Crazy. What do you mean by the juice, dude? No problem, Neil. I'm glad that really helped, dude. It made a big difference for me when I incorporated just trading less, being just more selective, man, and more on the ball. Big contribution. All right, thanks, Nihon. Alec, if you want to join the Discord, some of our guys will have some footprint templates. If we give you the good positive week, pardon me, positive week, Neil. That's all right, trader boy. That I think the thing is you need to draw out these plays. I know I'm obviously doing this at extremes here with the pens and stuff, but this is what I'm drawing out here is kind of like what the type of stuff that's going through my brain when I'm trading, right? It's the type of stuff that I'm looking for and thinking, and sort of levels I'm watching and correlations and what's happening with delta. And the only thing that I can't you know really give you insight into is experience. You just understand how they do it over time. The more you stare and watch these screens and you watch the book, you understand what they do at certain times, what's the probability of certain things happening, you know. There's quite a few good nuggets in there about the stop runs that happened. Um, just absorption to see, because it's easier once you can see it, because that's the thing. When you look at the DOM, you're like, holy smokes, what do I look at? But it really only comes into play when you're at key levels. Otherwise, when you're in a range, you don't trade in the middle of the range. That's where the market maker is building up the inventory one way or another, or building up their orders so that they can do this type of shit up here. So they're net long up here, they can then do this behavior, so they get out of their positions, absorb, and then just do this. They do this all day, every day. They just do it, and this one was really obvious because it's at a high, but they do it. They would have carried it out here if I get a pen. If you watch this, there's the same behavior here. Same behavior here. Then they consolidate at the highs. Then they've just done the same behavior and put it back into the range. That's all they do. That's all they have. You know. It's only behavior these guys can do. They're just absorbing orders, taking it to get filled where the most positions are, taking more orders. If you scroll down, they've basically carried out the same shit. Down here as well, they do it at the initial balance high, the initial balance low, NFP comes out. They have a first sweep where they sweep the high, and if you look here, right, they do it by a literal tick. Of course they do, because why? Because the stops are here. It's not a coincidence that that's just the market goes there. And there's a big sell that come in to basically hold it as well. Then they pull it back, retest where buyers hold up, and then we crack. And then, as we discussed in the previous streams, you now no longer fade this because it's above the initial balance high. Now it's now one time framing. Now you either walk away from the screen or you only look for long positions. You never take the second sweep. Okay, the first one you need to stand up, put your balls on the table and take the position. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. You do not then start fading this, because if you do start fading this, you then fade this. You fade everything. And then before you know it, your account's dust. So you need to be more selective, and you need to have some rules for your fades. And my rules are, if we're above initial balance high or below initial balance low, I'm expecting a trend day. And when it's a trend day, I suck. So, go for a cold shower or something. Do anything bar trading. Because as we've discussed, if you watch the journal video, you need to control the losses. It is literally the be all and end all. Focus on being more efficient with your time, being super focused when you're trading, and only trading for a set amount of hours a day, so it becomes like any other job. If you're packing shelves at Amazon, you're not going to be there all day, every day, are you, trading? You hate the damn thing. This is no different. And you get consistent at it, it's a job like anything else. You need to do it, and you need to be really meticulous with your numbers as well. Exactly, Neil. Exactly. I can't stress enough, man, how important it is, dude. Um, you just you become so much more focused. You know what you're looking for. You're not fatigued. It just makes a big difference. And also, the trades that you're executing in that window, you get better at managing them. You know. Telling you, I wish someone told me that, man, when I first started, or only was in the first couple of years of trading. I wouldn't have lost so many years of my life. I've been doing this shit for 10 years. I lost years of just faffing around, doing stupid shit. The objective of this channel is to try and get you guys to cut down the stupid shit. Save you time. Because trading is a fantastic... Well, the one thing I would say is lonely, which is one of the other reasons for creating the channel. But it gives you fantastic freedom. You no longer need a boss. You can turn on the screens. You can do it from pretty much anywhere with a good internet. But you need to have a discipline. You need to understand yourself really, really well, and you need to really know your numbers really well. We covered that in the journal video, which I hope was a good example. I'm trying to, really hammer home to everyone of the key things. I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's you just need to be extremely anally retentive about journaling, being really focused on yourself, and executing at the times that your edge is best. because we're not robots. And the sad thing is, the robots that are in the market are done by the smartest people with PhDs in computer science and maths that are taken straight out of the best universities in the world, straight into Goldman and JP Morgan, you know, and that's their jobs. And they'll be sitting in front of the screen watching their algorithms at play. If it's not performing, they put in the mean reversion algo, for example. So we need to play at the games that we understand an edge and trade with the path of least resistance. It's funny that now that the bid has been taken away, how we're just gradually grinding lower. You know, it's just like I call it the tap. You know, the bid tap up here. You know, where we've seen all this buying. The bid tap is now off. You know, which is seen by this grinding down. So they just completed their business and then they got out of all their positions here, and now they're now working the offer. Now they can basically start gradually bashing price down here as an example, because they're net short. So anything they spend, they're still net short probably 6,000 contracts from up here. We've seen all this absorption. So if they spend, you know, 400-500 contracts down here to bash price down to here, they're still net short 6k from up here as an example. So they don't need to spend as much money to drive price down. It's, you know, it's a different world how these companies and big firms trade. They don't need to trade directional either. Yeah, exactly, Trader Boy. We're all learning that the hard way, dude. That's the thing. We're all learning that the hard way, man. I don't know if you guys have got any other questions. I'm just going to pop this in the chat for anyone that wants to support the channel. I know a lot of you lovely people already are supporters, which is much appreciated. Well, see, I think it's nice that we just ended just below POC. We'll see if we can get back down to this sort of range to finish the day, which is where these large orders are. These large orders tend to be revisited, to be honest. If you notice as well, all these orders here follow the price all the way down, so they actually went real. These orders that they stacked here, if you remember, they've just followed price down. So actually this was the complete absorption. So you're never going to know when these motherfuckers will fool you. That's the thing. You never know if they're real or not. But the giveaway was the fact that they carried out all this absorption. And really, if you're wrong in this trade, your stop is going to be pretty tight. Say you're short from, I don't know, 25s. Say you're short from here. Your stop's pretty tight. Your stop's going to be up here. Because in order for this to go down after it's done all that absorption, it should not be reaching above the highs again. Do you know what I mean? So that was the play anyway. And you just need to make sure you've got a decent edge when you're doing it. Wait for the behaviour that suits the trade plan, you know. So anyways, guys, let me know if you got any questions. If not, we'll probably look to call it. I don't think there's going to be anything really more exciting happening. I think that's pretty much us. We'll just be in probably the next 5 or 6 tick range, and we've managed to reach back to POC. Thanks, Trader Boy. Much appreciated, dude. Jagger, how's it going, my man? Did it literally consolidate the highs, dude? Let me see. Let me get rid of this pen here. Let me quickly open and have a look. Open Treasuries. Oh wow, it's literally it's classic Treasuries, dude. Let me have a look. So yeah, we literally just consolidated around. It's fucking honestly, man. If you look in the group as well, I am pissed at how I executed that today. Seriously, man. I literally was saying you shall not pass 8.5s, right? 8.5s, and I literally was wanting sevens, and I can literally call the low as well. Muppet. Still had a positive day. C'est la vie, to be honest. So yeah, we're not breaking this step in the profile here. Let me clear this. So for example, they are going to defend this area. Good place to go long at the bottom of the range here at 16s and basically take it, back up. Uh, that's basically what they've been doing. Again, step, profile, defend. This has been a great absorption and backticking here. 10.5k absorbed in the offer, 12k hit. A couple of tickaroos back to here. Glorious stuff. But we don't trade. If I call a low and I take 4 ticks after it, I am no bueno for me. No trades, because the worst thing that happens when you literally call 8.5s here, and then you get out like here, and then it does this. If you continue to trade, you're going to be, pissed. So my experience when I do shit like that, I end up just having a shit day. So hey Neil, have a good weekend, dude. I mostly trade, so I start typically an hour earlier, e-commerce. The reason being, dude, is I normally trade treasuries now, just with the book being thicker. Um, so I start about an hour before bond open, and bond opens an hour, so it's 8:30 US time or Central time, I think it is. New York time, put it that way. Um, so I start at 7:30, and I'm normally done by 11. I'm done by lunch, like 11, 12 o'clock is normally the session. Because the afternoon in treasuries, to be honest, this is normally the shit it does. It normally does, um, you know, this sort of behavior where it'll just consolidate around, you know. This is the sort of setup. We've just moved the point of control. You know, it's pretty much going to end. The point of control is going to end right here. But you're spot on, Jagger. Yeah, I was calling the, you know, some sort of fade play for ES. Do you see there was so much absorption? Let me go back to this a wee second. Um, if we look up here, dude, there was like 6k absorbed here when they started stacking. So they were stacking tons here. They basically lifted above the highs and stacked tons above here. Then we saw like 6k absorbed, and there was basically there was this amount of buying on Delta, and the market wasn't moving. And then as usual, when they type it to give that behavior, we then, you know, just dropped off. I take it you saw the same on NQ, something similar to that, and then just faded it back down, right? Something like that, dude. This is all she wrote, right back down to the POC. How classical. I don't know how you can still trade at this time. You're a machine, Jag. I am no danger. I've got the brain capacity to trade and actually manage. You know, it's different discussing trading and stuff, but actually being in a position executing, I would just be like, I'm too tired. Screw it. I'll just put a stop and target and watch. That's why I've got to be trading at, you know, when I'm pretty efficient and vital for the day. Hopefully that was helpful, e-commerce. Well, let me know if you peeps have got any questions. If not, we'll probably look to call it. If you guys have got any video ideas, feel free to go to the video roadmap in the Discord and leave a comment. Let me know. We're putting out a video tomorrow, so I'll work on it today and tomorrow. Tom, no problem, dude. Have a nice weekend. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll catch up on Monday. I'll be posting a video most likely tomorrow. So if you watch any of the videos over the weekend, just make sure and leave a comment. And any questions, just keep me posted. Thanks, Trader Boy. Much obliged. Peace, everyone. Have a great weekend.